All right. Hello, everyone. We're going to dive into creating emojis since it's World Emoji Day. That is the plan. Thank you for joining me, Tim. I just saw you a second ago, didn't I? Because you were part of the behance.net/live, the Adobe live streaming that we've been doing, which is cool to see. So, good to see you again there, man. We're going to dive into this. And that is the plan. Let's just check everything. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. And you're having a beautiful day. So, let's dive into this. Again, thanks so much for joining me. All right. And again, this is being recorded as well and will be available on demand. I want to just dive into this because, hey, I like creating, and I'm actually just using a MacBook Pro. Just going to be using my trackpad, quite frankly. That's what I'm going to be drawing with. So, Tim, let's dive into this. Welcome, my friend, and let's get this party started. And first thing I'm going to do is just share my screen. Give me 1 second. As I share my screen, and you can see right in here. Excuse me. Boom, here we are. Let's get into this. Here I am in Illustrator. We could also do something similar in Photoshop as well, but Illustrator is the way to go. I typically need some references, so I'm going to jump into glyphs. So if you go to Window, down to Type, right down here, glyphs, okay? So there are color fonts available now. So if you're in Illustrator CC 2018, you can open up this glyphs panel, and it's going to be easy to see all of the various glyphs off to the side right over here. So this is perfect. Where are these fonts coming from? Well, is the entire font. What font, you may ask? Right down here at the bottom. Let me make sure that's not being cut off. Zoop, bring that up. Right down here it says Apple Color Emoji. That's the emoji font that I'm using just as a guide, okay? So we can just kind of draw from scratch if we want to, but there are easier ways. So selecting Apple Color Emoji, there's also Emoji 1, which is, I think, Android. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, that's like an Android font, but I'm doing Apple Color Emoji, and now I have access to all of these various, oh, look, it's so adorable, fonts. So, clicking in here, just with my text tool, what I'm going to do is just add, say for instance, this one right here. And again, this is a color font. I'm going to crank this up to about 200. So we can see it. There's our happy fun font, you guessed it. And this emoji is, might be something that I want to duplicate, right? In my own special way, right? So I might make a new version. Maybe it's you that's an emoji, would be pretty cool. So, gosh, good Lord, it's pixelated again. Let me check this. Okay. There we go. Every time you restart, it actually starts to pixelate. So nonetheless, should be good now. Thank you so much for catching that. And that's hugely helpful. And now we know why it was pixelated earlier. So should be good now. Let me know if it is okay, Tim. So good. Let me know, buddy. Awesome. Nice and clean and crisp. Yeah? Is it? There we go. Let me know, my friend. Better. Should be better. Should be 1920 by 1080. Sometimes when you restart, things don't get mapped correctly, and this is something you have to deal with, and, but now you can actually get a good look at all of these icons in a much better view. So, right down here, I have all these cute ones. Let's just go ahead and click on this mouse. Adorable. And we have people right in here as well. So let's take this artist. And these are the three. Cool. All right. So I'm going to get into creating this. Quite frankly, I could create this character right here, and that's what I might start doing it. So if we take a look at this, it's actually broken down into a couple different parts. Okay, so we can see lots of gradients and shading going on. I'm going to click and drag just to create a circle that does a holding the Alt key and the Shift key. I can create that right there, and then I want to dive into changing the colors. So let's get just like maybe a nice flesh tone actually right here, and give it a darker stroke for the outline is usually what we'll do. Cranking that up like so, and that's what we have so far. I'm gonna do one a little bit different, but there's a lot going on here. Again, I'm making my own version. Gonna make potentially like me, or you can make your friend, anyone you want, but maybe more human looking, kind of like this character over here. They're yellow. Maybe I will go with yellow. Maybe I will go with yellow. In fact, if I can select the eyedropper tool and should be able to pick a color. In this case, let's kind of dive into this color. Why not? Okay. Anytime you use a color, your border, your stroke is actually going to be a shade darker. So let's go into that same color, cranking it down like that, clicking OK. This might be more along the lines of what I'm going for. Okay. All right, next up, we're noticing that we have a couple of other things happening. So we have this highlight right here. Again, the same method. We want to draw out from the center, just like that. And we can see that we are given this circle. And from there, we can give it a highlight. All right. Through a lot of this, you can access a lot of the properties, sure enough, through the Properties panel. Eventually, I want to add this as a gradient. So adding this linear gradient right in here, we can change this to that correct color. But I want to go beyond that color there and change it, make it even brighter, kind of like that. Okay, so that's the highlight. And it's going to go to transparent, which is going to be 0, just like that. We notice when we adjust it like 90 degrees, we can go negative 90. We'll put it on top, just like that. Boom, boom. Right? If I want to feather this, first off, this is a ping file that's 512 by 512. So that's what's happening there. But I'm going to dive into this a little bit deeper. Right, because you're going to notice this is going to be full of gradients. Okay, so I'm starting to save some of these colors, selecting this background, starting to save that color, just like that. All right, creating our own. Look at this nice depth. So this is the detail that we want to dive into, that we really want, say like for the eyes, and we can make it look a little bit different. In fact, I'm going to take just, again, the simple ellipse. Zoop. Let's give it some eyes. Give our character some fun eyes, kind of like that. There we have it. Flipping those colors, doing something like this, and giving it, again, another nice gradient. And what you'll start to realize is you'll end up with a number of nice gradients that you're just going to be using over and over again. It's right in here, making that darker, and making sure that this is negative 90, that rotation. Actually, let's do this. Let's do 90 degrees like that. Okay, so this is what we have right here. We can see that it looks like it's just, it's not quite beveled. And usually what I'll do is I'll tilt it just a little bit, okay? 'Cause it's not like perfect up and down. We'll move that over. We can always do a transform, and let's reflect it vertically, click OK, and now we have the two eyes. But let's go beyond this, because for this eye, I can go into the appearance panel. Let me know if you have any questions, by the way. Is I can add another stroke to it. So you can have multiple strokes and multiple fills per object. Okay, because in order to create this bevel, I need to add sort of multiple strokes and fills. First off, I could actually go in and add the effect of a bevel. So right down in here, we should see Oh no, I gotta think about where it is exactly. What I can do is I can actually type in bevel. But typically I don't usually use the filter anyways. I make it myself, right? So right over here, adding a new stroke, just like that. Here's our new stroke. We can see that it is, sure enough, black, just like that. Let's change the color as expected. And notice how it's on top. This is where I'm going to start adding multiple strokes. So here's another stroke that's going to be like maybe a highlight color. So right in here, let's select this highlight color like that, and let's make it a touch smaller. Something kind of like that is what I'm doing. But it's basically going to be a balance of these two, right? Like this. And let's rotate it 90 degrees. What is up with this music? How is everyone doing too? It's a pretty chill night. Everybody's just relaxing. Yeah, looks like everybody's just relaxing. Okay, changing this. Rotating it 90 degrees. Something like that. And again, going back into appearance, it's going to be manipulating these properties right here. So this first stroke, by the way, I'm going to have that on the inside, and the other ones on the center or outside is when I align the stroke. That's what's happening there. Okay? All right. Still could use a little more work. Let's go into this gradient. Something like that. But basically I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of a bevel. It might be a little much there, but that's okay. We can work on that later. Taking this, copy, paste, or actually let's just do a click and drag, and then reflect it accordingly. Reflect vertically, kind of like that. Okay, I can probably tweak that a little bit more. Right, let's take a look at eyebrows, for instance, or even the mouth, because you'll have these cases where you have these nice curves. I really like that too as well. But coming in here, taking a look, we want to draw out an eyebrow. We could use the pen tool, click, 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 something like that. And then just turning off the fill. And for this stroke, we want to make sure that it is the right color. Boom. Oh yes. In fact, let's just use the eyedropper and select right here. All right, cool. Tim, how are you doing? All right. That's what I want to hear. Nadir, you're hoping your mom will invest in Adobe so you can get started soon. I hope she does as well. That'd be awesome. And this is the place to do it. So right here, here's the stroke. We want to go into the stroke. I can do it down here in the appearance panel or right here up in the properties. So if you're new, by the way, Nadir is using this properties panel because this is all you need. If I want to make one side thicker or thinner or round the caps, for instance, right here I can round the cap just like that on either side, okay? Going beyond that, I want to use what is called the width tool. So over here, the width tool, selecting that, and now I can control the width of these ends. Right in here, we can see them. In fact, oops, I just clicked. There should be some already here. There's already one there, boop, and there's going to be one on this end, right? Because it already has a certain width. But typically it's going to mean grabbing that and making it thinner, just like our eyebrows are. Thinner on one side, thicker on the other side, and then something like that. So from there, I probably want to add more of a bevel, which is going to be sort of like another stroke. That's going to be a little larger as I change this to something like that, and then moving this down like that. So I just gave it a bevel. See what's happening there? It's a little bit of a bevel. And for this stroke gradient, let's change it to 90 degrees. Pretty subtle. Anyway, showing you multiple tools, just kind of showing you how you can add multiple fills and multiple strokes on objects. This one still needs a little bit more work, but again, changing this to -90, maybe 0, and then making sure that it is thick enough. There it is. Okay, we can start to see how thick that is. All right, so that's one way to start to create sort of this this bevel, which is going to work great. Also, this is really going to start to add characters. So emojis obviously having emotion. Anytime that eyebrow is sloped downward, it's going to make them look angry. We want to move this in and give this little emoji a very kind face, something like there. Very open, expressive look is roughly what we have here. So Nagwin, good to have you. What about a shadow inside the eye? Yeah, let's go ahead and compare it back to this one. There could be, I've already added a gradient on the inside here, and it could be a little deeper. I'm not actually 100% sold on the appearance of these two eyes. So let's just go back in here and let's turn those on and off. This stroke, that stroke might not even be needed for the outside. That alone looks pretty good, all right? So that's what we can go with, shrinking that down. Tim, tell me something new, man. How are you doing? Just living the dream, huh, buddy? I'm just rocking out to our new playlist. Hopefully it's not too loud on the stream, but you get the idea. There we are. Same thing for the mouth. How are we gonna do a mouth? Typically I'll do like a circle, right? Something like this, right? And then I would cut it. So, there's so many different ways of doing things. Let's try this. Here's a shape. And there's, again, 1,000 different ways we can do this. When it comes to cutting, we have the eraser tool, we have the scissors tool, we have the knife. Okay, when you use the eraser and the knife, it's going to turn it into two separate shapes. But I'm going to try this knife, and I'm just going to do a click and drag. Yeah. It allows me to make two different shapes. That's what the knife does. Same thing with the eraser tool. Let me hold down the Shift key. If I hold down the Shift key, I can drag it all the way across. And again, we have those two separate shapes is what happens. So this might be one start for making a mouth in this case. Bringing it over here. I'm thinking, okay, that's pretty good, but I want the corners actually rounded. Well, I can use my direct selection tool, clicking right here, and I can grab this inside control point and bring that in about 7. Because right up here, this is the corner radius that we're dealing with. I can make this 7 pixels. I want to do a nice round number because I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Maybe even 5. Right, because for this side, as I select it, that corner radius, 5, like that. That's what I want to go with. From there, I can actually just use the I key for eyedropper, clicking there, and now we have that fill that we can then start adjusting accordingly. All right, does that work for you? It works for me. Because again, I'm just trying to do this fast. Right? I can actually make that bigger. There's about 1,000 things we can do from here. So is there a mirror tool to make it easier to duplicate? There is a mirror tool, actually not in Illustrator natively. What you do have is you have the reflect tool. So that's basically your mirror tool. If I click there, right? If I click there, I can click over here and it will mirror from that point. Right, or reflect it from that point. There is actually a mirror plugin called Mirror Me from Astute Graphics that you can also use. And that works out just fine as well. Let's select all these, zoop, move them over, so nice and centered. There's sort of our first quick little emoji, keeping it simple, because again, it is World Emoji Day. And I'd probably still want to add more character to this. What if, again, having this straight edge is not working for me? Using the direct selection tool, I can roll over this line. You know, if I have these points selected, I can start to sense this path. Right, and this is the path that I want to adjust. So let's go to, there we go. Using the pen tool, we draw with the pen tool. But if I hold down the Alt key, I get this ability to bend this line. So I can grab that just holding down the Alt key when the pen tool is selected and drag that down like that. What's happening here is if I double click on this tool right here, the pen tool, please give me the settings that should open up when I double click, or not. Either way, that is a setting in the pen tool and also the pencil tool when you use it. So here's our happy little face. We can see these icons here as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Looks kind of mean almost, but I think I need to work on the eyebrows, right? They're down if I raise them up, because what happens when you're excited? You raise your eyebrows up. So the higher I raise them, it's gonna make it seem just more playful of a face like that, okay? From there, I can take these assets and move that over. But now I have the start or the base of many more things, right? So if I wanna duplicate this, and if you wanna make yourself an emoji, the emoji is plotting something, exactly. Yeah, so they might be kind of, it seems very gingerbread man-ish. Check this out. What if you want to change the color? Because we know for also emojis, they have a lot of different colors as well, and skin tones and all that stuff. But we go to File, we go to Edit, we go to Edit Colors, and Recolor Artwork. So from there, selecting that, this is the color mapping that's currently going on. Okay, but if I select Edit, and I lock it down, let's lock it down, boop. So see how it actually has these solid lines? Now I can grab this and shift it this way, shift it red. Now he's angry, and maybe that's what we do for this one. Let's do an angry face. Okay, here's our angry face. I don't want to have an angry emoji, but here it is, just showing you that color shift. Keep in mind that this looks pretty complex. It's just one shape with multiple strokes and various things just like that. Super easy to work with. Let's zoom in on that, and we'll just use the P for pen tool, holding down the Alt key, and I can roll over that line and make him look like kind of, ooh, that's really mean. Kind of angry. But again, we'll just manipulate these Bezier points. Oops. And this is where I get quiet as I start to make this face look a little more angry. Why the angry face? Why? Why does this emoji have to be angry? In fact, Shift-C will give you the anchor point tool. I can click right there and make that obviously a sharp line and do something like that. Needs more work, Tim. He's just angry. I'm not used to creating like an angry little face, but there's an angry little face. And taking this, what do? We change this as well. So I've been ignoring chat. Yes, looks like everybody's pretty chill there, and hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. But let's kind of go something like that. Shoop. You get the idea. In fact, let's eliminate that point altogether. Do something like that, and now we have angry emoji. Shift-C will give you the anchor point tool. I want to do something like that. Like that. Taking this, getting a little more advanced, but I want to round the corners and the caps. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, just trying to get into this as fast as possible and give us the quickest results possible. All right. Works for me. Duplicating these, zoop, flipping them. Why'd you gotta be so mean, emoji? Why you gotta be that way? Life is good. Happy, angry, you get the idea. Yes, these live streams, hopefully they do help you. And yes, join the Behance streams. You're going to behance.net/. Yeah, kind of like mischief-like. I kind of like it. Hopefully you like it. We could do more with like kind of furrowing the brow. In fact, I'll take this, I'll duplicate it and start playing with the fill. Boy, what music is playing? Let's fix this. There we go. Much better. To answer your question, there's plenty of people that tend to stream. I end up doing a lot of it for Illustrator. And I also end up getting lost in the details. But again, I'd give him more of a furrowed brow right up here is what I'm doing. All right. Again, just doing this because it is World Emoji Day. Yeah, that's okay. Be sure to tune in. Hit subscribe right here. Hit subscribe to Creative Cloud. Here's this character. Guess what? I have more characters. If I scroll over and I turn on some of these faces, you could see I've already done this many, many times, right? Super easy. You want to make a heart. It's all these fun gradients. And then your next step is to, maybe take a photo of yourself and then trying to emojify yourself, basically. And it's going to mean exaggerating features. So here, like taking your eyes and making them at least 2 times bigger, right? And simplifying those unique features that you have. I'm just a typical white boy, so yeah, this is what I end up looking like. And keep in mind this border is also going to be like really thick as well. Oh, Queen Cookie, you find the angry emoji really relatable. Uh-oh, look out. Here's all the different, oh, that's sad. I don't want you to be that way. I did not do an angry emoji for me, but this is just kind of funny how I did this and then this. It all starts with that basic emoji shape and then modifying it to make a baby Groot in this case. And going beyond that, you can see here's some Star Wars emojis that were made as well. So again, Luke and all sorts of fun things, right? All done the same way. Here's just like taking and deducing anything down to its basic shapes, right? We did that with a face and then ended up with something like this, okay? It all takes time, but it's all pretty straightforward. All right, cool. The next step is really getting it on your phone, which is a whole other deal. Again, you can see these people, how, you take the basic shapes for Princess Leia. Oops. And still made of the typical emoticon. And you can see these are just gradients right in here. So that's about it. Keep in mind that you have the glyphs to draw from, essentially, in Illustrator. And you also have them in Photoshop. So go to your glyphs panel if you have CC 2018 and go down to Apple Color Emoji. And that's where you can access all of those different emojis to then sort of pick apart and draw over. You get the idea. Yeah, so Queen Cookie, you typically like minimize the nose. Even you could, yeah, look right here. She doesn't even have a nose. Like your nose becomes a shadow. right? Your mouth and your eyes get bigger. Your eyes are almost like 3 times larger than usual, right? Your mouth is probably like 2 times larger. But think about like a baby. You want something that's cute, and a baby has like really big eyes and chubby cheeks. You know, that's kind of what we're going for when we create these, as you can see, all right? So cool. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to let you go. I hope this does find you smiling, and hopefully you are not the angry emoji wherever that file now is, because I've done quite a bit in here. Let's take a look. There's my Groot, and then right in here are my characters. Let's take a look. There we go. Mean to happy, but this is the fundamentals. Get us started, and we can start customizing. And maybe you're not feeling well. I encourage you to go into edit colors and recolor artwork. That way it's gonna take all of those gradients, fills, strokes, all that stuff, and then you can lock it down, like right there. Gives me these solid lines, and now we can make him like maybe he's not feeling well. Boop, there we have it. At least as a starting point, right? You get the idea. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Tim, thank you for joining me. Queen Cookie and Nadir, everyone. Don't forget, go to behance.net/live. We'll be live there tomorrow. We're going to be doing like a lot of Adobe XD, UX and UI work. Here's Adobe XD, and guess what? Sure enough, I can sort of design an app and integrate, sure enough, maybe not that one, but illustrations and all that fun stuff into whatever I'm creating. Hopefully this finds you happy, seeing as I put this on a map. Hopefully this little path finds you happy and you're having a good day. Thank you, everybody. What do I save the files as? I save them as Adobe Illustrator typically, but if I wanted this on my mobile device, I'd save this as a PNG file, and then you just attach it as a picture if you want to send it in a text, right? We're not going to go into making a whole emoji keyboard. That's kind of next level stuff, but very cool. And all I have going on here is I've got a window. And last thing, sorry, show artboards. Here are my artboards. This is set up to 512. Actually, let me just double check. These artboards right here, boop, see it? 1024 by 1024. That's actually the size of emojis, I think, or it might be 512, but typically I would have it at that size, like that, and then just go to File and Export for screens, is typically what I'll do. And there they all are, and we'll export them out and use them wherever you want. Queen Cookie, that means a lot to me because I'm doing this for you, all right? And awesome. Nadir, we'll tune in Thursday, tune in tomorrow on behance.net/live, because that's where I will be tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Would love to have you there. So thanks so much for everybody for watching. Thank you, Tim, Queen Cookie, and everyone. Have a wonderful day. Be nice to one another. Call your mother. Make sure you use deodorant. And smile. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and I will